Hello and welcome back to the X-Files Revisited. We are on to Season 3, Episode 18, and Brian is already in hysterics. You good, Brian?
Yeah, I'm
Feeling
good. I'm good.
Good to
I'm
go.
good.
And we are on to the episode Teso dos Bichos.
Teso dos Bichos, yeah.
Yeah. It's mandatory to say it that way. It's probably super insulting as well, but hey ho. Now, Brian, tell us a little bit. Is this episode well regarded?
Have a guess where this sits on the 217 episodes list.
Oh, I am going to go for 154.
Oh man, I would have guessed maybe a little bit lower, but no. This is 217.
Oh, this is the bottom one.
This is literally, according to IMDb, that at this point I think is smoking crack. This is the worst episode ever made of the X-Files.
I know we're only episode 18 of season 3, but there's a few contenders already for that bottom.
Oh, I can name about 5 that I think are easily worse than this. And going into this, before watching it again for the sake of this episode, I was going into it expecting it to be one of the bottom ones. And I will say up front, I am surprised by how... it's not great, it's not one of the best episodes, but I'm surprised by how much better it was than I was expecting. Again, still not one of the best episodes, not even close. But I can think of an episode even this season that I think is worse than this one. So yeah, I went to the IMDb list with the 217 episodes ranked. I literally shot straight down to the middle because I was thinking it certainly won't be above the middle. So I get to the middle part and I start going down. I'm like, maybe close to the 200s I might find it. I keep going. I'm like, have I gone past it? I've gone past it. Get to the end. There it is. Sat right on the bottom. I was just shocked. Gotta be said. I'm shocked. Yeah. And obviously you gave it, you were expecting around the 154 mark, so clearly
it's not great. It's not great, but it's not a terrible episode. It's not the list.
No, that's exactly the one I was thinking. When I said there's one from this season, that's the one I was thinking. Because man alive. All right.
Yeah.
So should we get into it then?
Let's get into this.
Okay. So we open up and we're on an excavation team that are digging up the earth, and they come across these remains of what was a female shaman. So it's a Native American burial ground. It's that old trick. Poltergeist kind of thing. Right, okay. So the guy who's in charge of this team is warned against taking the body, the remains, but proceeds to take them anyway. He's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to respect any kind of nonsense Native American culture thing. No, we're here to dig up bodies, whatever. So it cuts to night time, and the Native Americans that are around the site that have been kind of saying that they shouldn't take the body and this, that, and the other, they start to perform this chant. And there's a member of the team that is working on the excavation. He's there, and they're all they're passing around this potion. And as they pass around this potion, they start seeing strange things. And then we see a large cat. What appears to be a large cat attacks and kills the professor. So yeah,
it's a good opening. It kind of reminded me of a couple of movies. First of all, it feels very much like The Mummy, the old school Mummy movie. People desecrating a foreign land where they don't know the cultures or the rituals or the myths. But then it moved very quickly into one of my favourite monster movies.
The Relic.
Like The Relic.
Yes. I was thinking the exact same thing.
It feels very much like the opening scene of that. And even when it moves to the university and they're looking at things, it feels very akin to that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it's good vibes. It's a little bit cheesy, it's a little bit tropey, and it's familiar, but it's fine.
Yeah, but then so was Ice. You know, like you're only like 5 minutes into Ice, and you're like, okay, it's The Thing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't stop it from being one of the best episodes ever made.
No.
So, all right. So we go to the opening credits, and then we come to this dude in a museum of indigenous peoples, and he's looking for Mr. Craig Horning and finds loads of blood. Then he legs it, and we see the female shaman's bones. So obviously, time has passed. They didn't learn from the dude getting killed by a big cat. They brought the bones over, and it now sits in a museum where someone else has now just died. So,
yeah, we're getting right into it. Obviously, something's killing along with this thing. I wasn't expecting what the reveal is, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah, as the whole large cat notion, I gotta say, it doesn't really do much for me, and I gotta say that when we do get to the reveal, I feel like a lot of people maybe find that a bit stupid, whereas I actually prefer that to what the alternative is that's being set up at the moment. Okay. So it has a bit. I don't know if you've seen the film Wolfen or Wolfen.
Yes.
Yeah. So it reminds me of that. This episode is basically just like
all
20
different kinds of things.
Yeah. Although I think it does predate The Relic. Certainly the movie at any rate, not the book. But,
not by much though. I wouldn't think, because The Relic's like mid-90s as well. So
it was 97, I think. I think The Relic's 97. So,
and this one came out.
This would have been 97. Yeah. So it's too close really to say that either one of them copied each other. But all right, okay. So Mulder and Scully get to the scene, and Mulder checks the scene while Scully talks with the manager, who claims the death of this Horning dude is politically motivated. Scully says the State Department received a letter on behalf of the Sarcona Indians asking for the return of the artifact. The manager says he has no intention of doing so, and that he is protecting it from destruction by the development of a new oil pipeline. Mulder posits the theory of a curse. So it's like, literally like the most obvious kind of thing right now is that, okay, these people didn't want these bones taken, and now the people who are saying, yeah, we're not giving them back, are dropping like flies. Yeah. So any rational person would say, okay, someone from this group is out of protest, he's offing these people. No, Mulder, he's like straight for the curse. Yeah. It's the only rational explanation, Scully.
It's what you want. It's what you're fully expecting.
Yeah. Okay. This guy's got douchebag written all over him, though.
Of course.
Yeah. The typical kind of. Yeah. It's like, no, we're protecting it. These Native Americans, I don't know what they're doing. They're a little bit behind the times.
All he needs is kind of suspenders just to look where he's doing it,
Yeah. Twirl his mustache, but okay. Mulder and Scully are shown the artifact by Mona, who says it shouldn't have been brought there. She says that Belak, who is the guy that we saw at the beginning taking the potion, the old wacky backy, he says that Belak is behind the letters, believing the Sarconians have the right to decide what happens to their ancestors. So it's very exposition heavy, this one. It's like, I think there's a lot in this where it's going to be people telling certain people that somebody else has said something or that somebody else is about something, rather than actually seeing it from them ourselves. But
it's not only exposition, it's clunky exposition. It doesn't naturally flow. It feels very heavy-handed. But hey, sometimes you get that in the episodes.
And there's no reason for her to do it. That's the thing.
No.
Because we learn later that she clearly favours this guy. She likes this guy, gets on with this guy, goes to see him after the fact. So she literally could have just kept her gob shut and not even brought that up. So yeah, there you go. So they go to see Belak, and Belak says he learned from the Sarkonians, sounding like he went native a little bit, bit Avatar, Dances with Wolves kind of thing. While he taught them about American bureaucracy, which I thought was a nice line.
Yeah.
He says the killings will continue until the artifact is returned. Scully implies that he did it. She makes no bones about it. She just goes straight for the jugular. And he says they are fools if they believe that. So,
yeah.
What do you think about this guy right now?
he's like, I mean, he's the obvious red herring, really.
Yeah.
I don't for a minute suspect that he's behind it or get anything to do with it. I love how, as much as Mulder instantly jumps in the superstition, Scully's just like, no, let's just bring this back to it's this guy. It's fun. I like his house and that, how it's in complete disarray, and he's literally twitching. And they're just like, okay, Dr. Belak, that's fine. Well, he's like, his magic potion.
a little bit overplayed, I think, and obviously I think maybe the way it's shot as well, using particular lenses that kind of gets into his face and distorts it a bit, and it's just like that guy looks like he needs to go to hospital. I'm just like, he's not hiding the fact that he's taking something very well. So yeah, okay. Scully says to Mulder that he did it. So she's basically, there's no case here, Mulder. He's clearly behind it. She's already made her mind up. Mulder says, Jaguar spirit. It's like, I don't know, Scully. I'm thinking Jaguar spirit.
Which, it's awesome sounding. It kind of leads towards the big cat theory as well. Which, that's one part of the episode I do like, is the kind of leading you down one path of the big jaguar and then suddenly realising what it is later on, which is such a cool, real world, realistic kind of thing that could happen, I suppose. Rather than something fantastical or a monster. I like that.
So, Mona is on the phone. Turns out she's on the phone to Belak. She asks Belak why he lied to Mulder and Scully. Just as she's talking to him, the manager comes in, tells her they are just trying to do the right thing by preserving. Tells her not to lose sight of that by getting caught up in politics. He says, be careful where you plant your flag. And then the dog scares her. So we get a bit of a jump scare with the dog, which is like, ugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit rough. But it feels like just kind of office politics as well, she's leaning towards one faculty member, he's kind of going like, don't fall into that, come to my side. And we're just stuck in the middle going like, don't care, get to the spooky stuff. Yeah,
this guy feels seedy, to be honest, if I'm being perfectly honest. There's something about him where it feels like, I don't know, a bit not just office politics, but sexual office politics, perhaps. That maybe a couple of years down the line, there's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
There's a hashtag with his name on it.
There is definitely a Me Too hashtag with his name on it. Yeah. Okay, so. So the manager pretty soon after this, is killed when his Jaguar car won't start. See what they did there?
Oh, yes.
Oh. Yeah. After doing what any sane, irrationally sane person in this kind of movie or TV episode does, which is touch the blood that's on his car. He sees it and he goes, I'm surprised he didn't go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not just blood. Like, I wouldn't touch any liquid. Not even blood. Like, if I got out of the car and I was just like, that's weird. I guess I better call a mechanic or somebody who knows about these things. I'm not going to like dick my fingers in it, battery acid or something.
It's like if I think there's an oil leak in my car and I lift the bonnet up and hey, look, my bonnet's covered in liquid. I don't rub the oil and say, oh, yeah, definitely oil. It's like just why do people do this in movies? Seriously, it's just one step away from licking it just to check, but. Yeah, so Scully.
Like, how often does he do this in just random life?
I know.
Does he walk into a bathroom and go, "It's a strange looking puddle"?
Yeah, I get that. I get that it's probably a trope that started in movies because it was a way of like audiences had to catch up when movies first started, and you had to say, "Look, there is something that shouldn't be there. I've just touched it." That highlights the fact. We're a bit more savvy than that now. If a guy gets out of his car and looks at something, there's liquid there that shouldn't be there, that looks like blood, then yeah, that's bizarre enough without the need to have him go spell it out to us and say, what is this stuff? Okay, so Scully finds a partial rat body part in the engine. So they get there. This guy's obviously been killed by what appears to be a Jaguar in front of his Jaguar. And yeah, so she finds a partial rat body part in the engine. Then she questions Mona, who does everything to make it look like she's hiding something. It's like it's just like, how hard is it to just play it cool? Seriously, like how hard is it to just act like you don't know anything? It's just, yeah.
It's all
that's literally what she's like. It's like, it's just, you could not draw any more attention to the fact that you clearly know something. It's like you may as well just put a neon sign above your head. But,
it reminded me a little bit of, I don't know if you've ever seen the Legal Gentleman TV show.
I hated it, so I can't say I watched much of it.
Right, there's an old woman in that just keeps blurting out things that she's like, we didn't kill him.
Oh, yeah.
Just in a random conversation. That put me in mind of this woman.
I don't know if anybody can hear on my microphone, but my kids are causing havoc upstairs right now. I can hear them banging about something rotten. So I do
off a giant Jaguar.
Yeah, probably. I do apologise if that comes through, but there you go. That's the joys of recording when you've got kids in the house.
Yeah. Next time you make sure the cages are locked properly.
Yeah, I'll make sure the cages are locked properly next time. Okay, so Mulder searches the woods while something watches him from just above his head in the leafless trees. Like, literally, there are no leaves on these trees. They've clearly filmed in the dead of winter. Everything's dropped off. Now, once you get to the twist, you can go back to this moment and go, oh, right, yeah, that ain't so bad. That makes sense. If it's just one of them up there, you're not going to think much of it. You probably won't even realise it's up there. But given the assumption that this is a Jaguar that we're supposed to believe at this point, you're kind of thinking this is ridiculous. Yep. Mulder is walking through leafless trees in the dead of winter, and from the distance, because we get like a cat's eye view of it looking down from the trees, and like Mulder is literally about 5 feet tops beneath this Jaguar, and it's just like there's no way he's not seen that thing. No way. So it all feels a bit silly, just the way it's shot and that. But again, that's assuming it is what we're led to believe that it is.
I liked this scene. I just like the fact that the blood falls on him, and you're just kind of like, ooh, that's gross. And then the thing falls, but I didn't take it as something in the trees with it. I just almost took it as discarded meat that maybe the wind had dislodged or something.
Oh.
Either way,
well, Scully tells him that Mona is hiding something. I don't know how she figured that out, because she and she says she's hiding something about Belak, and then Mulder gets rained on by an intestine.
Yeah.
It's just grim. It's really grim.
I love it. I do love it. I think it's just so icky and horrible. Yeah.
Okay, so Mona goes to see Belak, who looks sick big time and is drinking yahe.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell yahe is. But he tells her to get out. It's just... This dude isn't doing himself any favours right now. He's clearly an addict. He's just 3 sheets to the wind. But
I was actually Googled it when I was watching it. I was like, "What is yahe?" I went down the Google tree. I was just trying to figure out what it was.
It's and yet we're still not getting a right lot from him, other than the fact he's very politically minded. He's clearly on the side of the Native Americans, and like you say, huge red herring kind of thing.
And seriously, like high or addicted, just shaking constantly, sweating.
So Scully does her autopsy notes. The intestine was pulled from Luton's body by an animal, probably a rat. Mona calls Scully, tells her Belak is sick and she feels like she's being watched. And then the dog starts barking. She finds rats in the toilet. So she goes down the corridor, she goes into the bathroom, and it's just like, all the toilets, each of the cubicles, there's just rats kind of like pouring through them, which were just...
It's fantastic. It's disgusting, but it's an awesome sequence.
Yeah. It's an icky image. And again, it takes me back to The Relic, because there's a bathroom scene in that where the guy goes in the bathroom and then you hear it coming in going, which is one of the freakiest scenes in that movie, to be honest. But
no, it's again, I was starting to, at this point, I was like, oh, it's rats that's doing this. It's swarms of rats. Everything led to that way. The fact that there was a rat in the car, there was a rat eating the intestines, the rats in the toilets. I just thought it was rats.
Yeah. Right. You're expecting like a giant rat, maybe a mother rat to end the rat, right?
Just swarms of rats.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh. So Scully goes to see Belak. She sniffs the yahe and doesn't turn the light on, though, which annoys the crap out of me. It's just like, you've not gone into some abandoned factory here, Scully. You don't have to whip your torch out. It's just, why do people go into darkened houses that they have to search and not do the simplest of things, which is just go, oh, click. It just annoys me. Flipping... light bulbs, they were invented for a reason, people. Okay, so Mulder gets spooked by security guard at the museum while looking for Mona. Then he gets a call from Scully, who reads Belak's diary. She says he's been tripping, seeing things.
Just all work and no play makes Belak a dull boy.
Yeah, so but she's onto the fact that he's clearly, as if they couldn't tell that before with his face. It was like, but Mulder sees something and goes to check the bathroom, which is covered in blood, like literally just decimated in blood. Again, reminding me of The Relic. Finds Belak, who says she's dead. So Bellac's there, covered in blood, saying she's dead. Not doing himself any favours, quite frankly.
Yeah. And I kind of was half leaning towards, is he shapeshifting into something? A little bit. I think the episode is leading you that way. But this scene particularly, because I'm like, why the hell is he there?
Yeah.
Like why is he there?
I think I think this episode deliberately plays into that just because of the Native American angle, because obviously the Skinwalker is a Native American folklore. I know there's an episode of Smallville which I really hate called Skinwalker, which is about that Native American folklore, and we've already had an episode in the first season called Shapes, which was about the werewolf one, yeah. And that was a native took place on a Indian reservation. So I think this episode is definitely geared towards that setup. I was certainly, because I couldn't remember much about this, to be honest. When I was watching it, it's an episode I've not revisited all that often. So I honestly couldn't remember where it was going. So I was leaning into that. I was thinking, it's Native American. We've got giant cat. I've seen that episode of Smallville, which is similar, and Smallville has ripped X-Files off a fair few times. So I was like, yeah, this is going to be like Shapeshifter, isn't it? So, but yeah, you are not alone. So Mulder and Scully question him. Scully really doesn't like this guy. Wants to know what he did with Mona, but he says it's the spirit that did it.
Yeah. Which, is like doing him no favours at all with Scully. No. But really drawing in Mulder at the same time.
Especially given the amount of drugs he's been taking as well. So
yeah.
So Scully follows Mulder to the bathroom. He asks why so much water is on the floor, which leads to him checking the toilets, where he finds dead rats. Security says they found Mona's dog dead. So again, as you say, at this point, it feels very much like a rat situation. Yep. The dog, they do an autopsy on the dog, or something like that, and it appears the dog ate a cat, which ate a rat, which ate rat poison. So the dog died because, what's the digestive kind of? I'm wondering about the science on that. If a rat's digested the poison and then a cat digests the rat and then a dog would it not have broken down to a considerable degree by then to have lost its potency? I don't know, but
I feel like as we get further into the episode here, it just becomes less interesting almost, and not to the point that I'm disliking anything. It's just almost getting to the point where I just don't care.
Yeah, because they're throwing a few too many things at you, aren't they? It's just like it's like
nothing's making me angry or aggravated.
No.
I'm just completely ambivalent to the whole situation.
Yeah,
care one way or another.
Yeah, like I'm not bored.
No,
I wouldn't say I was bored, and I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, this is the dullest or the worst episode I've ever seen. I'm certainly not thinking this is number 217 of 217. I'm just like,
a surprise.
Yeah, it's moving along fast enough to make me think, I'm going to see where it goes. So yeah, the dog ate a cat, which ate a rat, which ate rat poison. So Mulder thinks the rats are significant. You don't say. He says something about transmigration of the soul without actually saying anything. The rats died trying to escape something in the sewers. Evil spirits hide in sewers. So yeah, it's all just a bit. Basically, Mulder's kind of delivering his theories right now, and it's just he's not really saying anything. This is my problem. Probably my biggest problem with the episode is this is the moment where Mulder gets to be Mulder and give his theory, which, despite implausibility, would normally be made to sound plausible because Mulder just has that way about him. Whereas all the stuff he's saying right now, I'm just like if I was Scully, I'd be like, can I have some clarification as to just what it is you're actually getting at? Because I'm not so sure right now.
You feel as if he doesn't even believe what he's saying. I think that's what the problem is. There's no conviction behind it.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
He's just pulling random myths out and going, like, it could be that.
Yeah. It's like he feels like he's going down the evil spirit angle, and then in which case, like, why does an evil spirit have to hide in the sewer? Why is it living in the sewer? It's just it's a bit off for Mulder. But Belak disappears. Mulder finds a vent to an old steam tunnel. So Mulder and Scully go into the sewer, to which Mulder says, "Ladies first." Which I love. It reminds me of one of I think it was the first season episode. I think it was Gender Bender, actually. Right. Where it's like 2 million years of evolution, Scully, and she's like, and look who's holding the door. Which is like the best bit about that episode, other than a certain picture that some vagrant drew. Okay, so Mulder and Scully go into the sewer and they follow that rat. That's a quote. I don't know why I've written. I think do we see some rats that are running along? Somewhere, so they're like follow wherever that rat's going. And they find a bunch of half-eaten bodies, including Luton, which is just a mess. It's quite disgusting, to be perfectly honest. Then cats. Lots of cats. Lots and lots of cats, which attack. So this is, you either go along with this scene or you don't. I kind of go along with it, and I think because of the way it's filmed. I like the way it's filmed. I think a lot of people make the mistake of thinking cats can't do that much damage. But I've seen cats take out dogs. I've seen if a cat wants to do some damage, it can do some damage. So when you've got all of these things tearing through the wood, and you see that wood you see the claw marks coming through the wood, and they're just really scratching the living crap out of it, and you just it did kind of creep me out, I've got to say. Right. But what about you?
No, not so much. Not so much for me, and it's weird as well because I'm the kind of I do love exploitation cinema, and they kind of revel with these kind of sequences, but I just feel as if it's almost beneath the X-Files,
right?
You know, if I saw this same sequence in a movie from the 80s that was low budget with people who could barely act, I'd probably be more tolerable of it. I just feel as if it's not up to the usual X-Files standards.
I feel like they're slumming it a bit.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
All right,
I'm not feeling it.
Okay. Right. Okay. So they escape through a vent where they find Belak, and then the cats just randomly stop trying to attack. You know, they've been able to get in and out of the building, no trouble and stuff like that, and seemingly drag bodies away. Like when the manager of the museum got taken out, he hits the floor and then his body just goes and just like they've literally just dragged it off. So I'm not quite sure how that happened, but supernatural cats, that's what I'm putting it down to. Okay, so Scully says a search party have found no trace of cats. Mulder says State Department is returning the artifact, and it gets reburied as a shaman with cat eyes watches on, and the Mark Snow stereotypical Native American music plays over the top. Ooh, chilling. Oh,
indeed. This one was it was fine, I suppose. I liked it more at the beginning, the further it went on, the less sort of interested I was in it. I liked a lot of aspects of some of the horror, but for me, it just didn't tick all the boxes. I never hated the episode. I was never completely bored by the episode, or didn't like certain aspects of it. I just find it a little bit underwhelming. And for me, it was probably a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay, fair enough. I came into this one literally expecting the worst of the worst. Just because that was my memory of it. I do remember this being one of the worst episodes of the season. I think I said to you last episode that, because obviously we'd had that awesome 2-parter, we had the awesome pusher, and then I said to you that we're in for a bit of a slog now because we've got perhaps the 2 worst episodes of the season, and they're both written by John Shiban or Shiban, and he has this tendency, I think, to write about other cultures. Right. Migrant cultures, and I'm not always entirely sure he does them justice. Like I feel like the way he writes them, obviously he's clearly got a thing about like indigenous cultures, Native American culture, that kind of thing. He wants to shed a bit more light on those cultures, and I find that is respectable, and that's a good thing. Like the next episode, Hell Money, he wrote that one, and it's about Chinatown, so it's about the Chinese population in an American city. So I respect that, but I think because of the world in which the X-Files exists in, it means that in shedding light on these other cultures, he also runs the risk of heightening certain stereotypes around them. Like, so when you think Native Americans, you think curses and shapeshifters and things like that. So maybe if you want to write about those cultures, maybe write a film about those cultures, set within those cultures, that don't have the supernatural twist, because it does feel like next week's episode, Hell Money, we're in Chinatown, and I feel like the route we go down, while it's something that exists, I also feel like it heightens a certain view of Chinese people, of that culture, so to speak. So that's a problem I have with John Shiban's writing. And I knew that going into this. So I really was expecting a 1-star episode. I actually had fun with it to some degree. Okay. It's not brilliant. I do actually like the ending when the cats attack, because I'm a cat lover, so I don't know if that has it to do with it. But it's just, I think I'm on the same boat as you, in the sense that it does feel like something that's out of an 80s schlockfest kind of crap movie. It's just I liked it for that reason. Right. Whereas because you like that kind of stuff, you prefer it to be... If you're going to go that route, then I want it to... Like you said, it has to be badly acted, it has to be badly produced and all that. So, whereas I don't like those kind of movies precisely for all that reason. I'm like, now if you did something like this, but put people in it who could act... I might like them kind of things. So I guess that's where I sit on this. So I give this a 3 out of 5. Mm-hmm. And that's a low 3, but it is still a 3. And see, like I say, seeing it sitting at 217 of 217 is mind-boggling to me.
Really is. Especially when there's things like Dodcam out there and
Dodcam, Space.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just like, it makes zero sense to me that people would deem this to be the single worst episode of the X-Files. So yeah, I think they've been smoking too much Yahweh. So not Yahweh, Yahweh is the Jewish name for God. Okay. Smoking too much Yahweh. All right. Okay.
Right, Brian. So you've mentioned it already. Hell Money a little bit. Is it? You said it's another not so great episode.
Yeah, I'm going to go into it open-minded, given how this week's episode turned out, but I don't think it's going to be better than this episode. I certainly think it will be worse than this episode, based off memory, and could very well be the worst episode of the season. I think the list will give it a good run for its money, so it's a toss-up really between the two. But if we can get past Hell Money, then I think we're back onto some plain sailing, some good stuff coming up. But we just got to get past it.
Good. Yeah. It's only 43 minutes or something we need to watch. So
yes.
Okay. As always, thanks for watching or listening, whatever you choose to do. If it's on the iTunes or whether it's on the YouTube channel, we appreciate it. And we will see you next episode, number 19, Hell Money. Thanks for listening and watching.
Bye.